Hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And a little over a year ago, I had a conversation with John Notto, the guitarist for the band Dirty Honey, as they were riding high on the success of their debut EP, selling out shows, and getting ready to head to Australia to record their first full-length record. The only thing that could stop them is a pandemic. But they got that record recorded. It's coming out on April 23rd. John's back to talk about it, and he brought a friend, Justin Smolian, bass player for Dirty Honey. So, John and Justin, welcome.
What's happening?
Thanks for having us.
So, first off, I mentioned this is your debut full-length release, but Dirty Honey's been on the scene for a while now. You had great success both touring and with radio play off the EP. Does it feel like a debut record, or do you guys feel like you have your feet under you a little bit?
It feels like a second record to me.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a second record. It's just because I think what we were able to pull off in terms of, a career push off of that first EP felt like a full album cycle, even though it's not a full album. It was pretty crazy to finish right before the pandemic came in, right before the lockdown came in, to finish at the El Rey here, sold out, about 1,000 people, and go, wow, we did this on 7 songs, 7 released songs, So I didn't guess that we would be able to do that, but
no, I think we were all pretty shocked.
Yeah. So it doesn't feel like our first album, but it's the first full length thing.
And last year, so we spoke in early February, and you guys were about to get ready to head to Australia to once again record with Nick Didia, and then everything fell apart. But you guys got creative and still were able to work with Nick in Australia. Talk a little bit about how you created this record with him.
Well, what we did was we took the extra time and we used my rehearsal space, and then we rented another rehearsal space. And we just said, well, let's take all these seedlings that probably weren't going to make the record and, see them through. This is an opportunity.
Yeah, it really probably would have been another 5 or 6 song EP if the pandemic hadn't happened. We definitely got to, I'd say most of the songs that are on this were at least partially formed before the pandemic, but we really got to workshop them and get them just way better than they would have been if this hadn't happened, honestly.
Yeah, to completion. Yeah.
Yeah, so, as much as it was sort of a halt to the momentum you guys were building, there is a bit of a positive in the shutdown that it gave you a little more time to breathe, kind of put this together, rather than just keep the cycle going without taking a break.
Absolutely. In terms of the record, it was 100% positive, I think. Yeah.
As far as the songs themselves, the material, were these songs that you guys kind of had in your pocket for a couple of years, or is it all stuff that you wrote since the EP came out?
It's all brand new, right?
Yeah.
It's all brand new. Yeah.
A lot of it was actually written on the road touring the last EP.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And you guys are just an incredible example of what can be done by a great band with great songs, even if there's no record company behind them giving them a push. And I know you've mentioned a few times that you just didn't see any of the offers that the record companies were putting out as being good enough for you. Has that changed at all? Is the new record still going out independently, or are you working with a company now?
It's still independently, yeah. And we haven't been actively pursuing label offers, to my knowledge. So right now we're just going to keep, pushing it the way we did. During the first year, even when labels either, turned us down or the offer wasn't right, there was this sort of mantra that started from our manager. It was like, sort of like, screw it, we'll do it and figure out how to pay for it later. You're either with us or you're not, was our thing. So I think we're just continuing that.
And I think with the world we're living in now, the way the music business is, you don't need that label anymore. I mean, everything is digital, so you could really push it out to your fan base digitally. You don't have to print a million hard copies. You get enough
Right.
to satisfy that. So I think, the way you guys are doing it, it's working for you and it's getting you out there.
Yeah, and we've really got a great team behind us too. We've got a great manager, great agent, great radio guys. We're really fortunate in that regard.
And one thing too that's always grabbed me about your band and your music is, I mean, you guys are unabashedly a California band. In a time when there's just a lot of, kind of faceless music made online, you guys are, for me anyway, a throwback to bands like Guns N' Roses or the Black Crowes, or even like the Ramones and Buck Cherry, where the identity of the band is really kind of wrapped up in where they're from. They're sort of inseparable. Is it important to you to keep that sort of Southern California identity in your music?
Yeah, and especially I think it was just important for us to not try to be anything other than, at least for three of us, what we've become by living here, because, we're transplants. Justin here, he's an OG.
I'm a native.
He's a native, baby.
Nobody's a native.
You've seen the Sound City. Is it Sound City, dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he grew up right down the street from that,
nice.
So yeah, Van Nuys original right here.
Mhm.
I think that moving here, like for me and Corey and Mark, moving from kind of, not rural. I was really rural, but still, we got northern Maine, you got upstate New York, and you got, sort of bumfuck Oregon. We we love the wilderness and the woods and stuff. And you come to California, and there's a certain brand of performance, a certain brand of. So if you've got that in you, you tap into it, and I think that's kind of what makes us California.
Yeah, I mean, because we played, especially it's like Santa Monica and Hollywood, and like we really developed our live performance from that. We used to play in this really shitty bar called The Basement, but it would just be packed, and I mean packed with like college kids. And by the third set, at midnight or 1 a.m, everybody would be so hammered, and John would be like making out with girls while he's playing, and I would bum rush the audience and like start a mosh pit. It would just get crazy. Like the floor would be covered in glass by the end of the night.
It really and none of that's an exaggeration.
Yeah, and we really wanted to take that idea or that sense of performance with us on the road, and I think that's why people like seeing us so much.
Yeah,
because we really want to bring that same mentality of a crazy small bar to hopefully big arenas one day.
Yeah, I was like, let's just take The Basement to the arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that is what you became. That is sort of what people think of when they think of an LA club, and it brings it into your music and comes out everywhere else. And certain areas of the country have their own various scenes, but what you just described, I think when people think of a band playing an LA club, that's it. And then that translates in what you bring back to the audience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it was just like, it was an out of the way thing, in literally in a basement. I mean, a well-furnished basement, of course. But there was a certain freedom to being down there. It's like a speakeasy. It was like a juke joint. It was like, we're down here and whatever goes kind of thing.
Yeah, it was great to do those gigs too, because we would take, we would do cover songs also, but we would really stretch those songs out and improvise them and go into these long jams, which I think made us develop more as a band and just get better at playing together, like learning how to take other songs that we loved and make them our own.
And the record, it's 8 songs. There's no filler on it. Did you have more tracks recorded, but just picked your strongest? Or were you kind of going sort of old school, it doesn't need to be an hour and a half to, grab someone's attention kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we're taking advantage of the fact that you don't literally need filler anymore.
Yeah.
So we cut 3 songs that if in their current form, if we had put them on the record, they'd have been filler, you know? And so we're able to we don't have to succumb to those pressures of,
you need 12 songs.
Yeah, the yesteryear. So it's like, if we have 8 bangers, let's put out 8. You know, why put out 11 songs and 3 of them will be realized?
Maybe they'll make the next record and they'll be better than they were this time around.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, I mean, do you think that that's part of the benefit of kind of doing this on your own without a label there saying, you know, no, we need 11, even if you guys only feel strongly about 8?
I would say across the board, it's a benefit not having a label there saying anything. I mean, considering that, again, like what Justin said, considering the team we do have in place and the passion we have from that team, it's right now I can't imagine another cook in the kitchen. I really can't. You know?
Yeah.
So
the media,
our heads are in the right place too, so we know that we want to write great songs. So there's no argument there.
You know, and the media always rolls with this rock is dead narrative. But I mean, you know, bands like yourselves and a lot of others out there show on a daily basis how wrong that is. But for guys like you, when you see something like the Grammys that just went on, where they totally ignore your style of music, does it frustrate, does it disappoint, or does it motivate you to just go out there and kick their ass?
I think mostly the last thing. You know, you expect everybody has their time holding the torch, and that includes genres, I think. But I think so that part's natural, but I think the fact that, like what we said before, that that might have been a different interview, but we're in such a unique we're in such a unique place naturally. Like what we do naturally automatically puts us in a unique spot that we can lean in harder.
Yeah, and I think rock's always kind of been for like the outcasts and the misfits. So I'm not super upset that, you know, they weren't featured. I mean, obviously I would have liked to seen a rock band perform, but I wasn't like upset about it or anything. I was just thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll be there next year because we're awesome.
Yeah, it'd be all the more cooler to be the these guys are doing it? Yeah.
Well, and two, I think that by not having, you know, even that exposure, the people that are at your shows are there for you. They're there because they're into your band, not because they saw you perform one song and then, you know, after you play that song live, they're all going to get up and leave. So, you know, it's, yes, you want the exposure, but I think it helps you build an audience when you do it a little more organically. That's the best way to do it anyway, I think. I mean, you want, ultimately, all us artists want to get to a place where we have a conversation with a large group of fans. And the fans are there for you. And it isn't because it's a cool place to be, you know. Even the artists that start out as the artists where it's just hip to be at their show, they're hoping to get to that point too. But that's just, some artists start that way. They're lucky that way, you know. We're
really lucky that way. I mean, we have great loyal fans.
Yeah.
To do our first headlining national tour last year and have people literally flying around the country to see multiple shows was just kind of insane to me.
We're like, I like a lot of shows, not just like 2, like to see like 13 on 7 songs. I mean, it's great.
Well, and speaking of touring, you guys did a ton of touring on the EP, on your own, headlining shows, opening for some huge bands. Have you begun to put together what your touring strategy is going to be when things open up a bit? You looking to, you know, do some small theaters or things like that on your own, or you're looking to hitch on?
We've got people figuring that out for us.
You just show up and play.
Yeah. I mean, we do have some things lined up that if we've got a little bit of both lined up, and I think that the things with other bands are very exciting if they're able to happen. And I think for me and probably Justin and anyone else in the band, the most satisfying is to do your own show.
Right.
I mean, it's just because the audience is there for you, the night is yours, and you know, there's no time limit.
Yeah, there's no real feeling
proving.
like when the audience is singing along to every song.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you can't beat that. I mean, we've opened up for some big bands and played some big stages, but I mean, my favorite memories are probably from some of the smaller club shows where like we'll stop playing the song and the audience keeps singing along. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you can't
that's
beat that.
you can beat it with a great guitar solo, obviously.
Fake though, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's what's important. At the end of the day, it's always the solo.
Yeah. I mean, most songs are like BS, BS, BS. Guitar solo, BS, BS, BS.
Well,
That's just my opinion.
I'm with you.
I mean, it's cool. It's a good time for me to go smoke weed, I guess.
Oh no, I mean the solos in the songs too. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, remember that sing along?" I was like, "No."
But remember that solo.
Remember that solo right before the sing along?
Yeah.
And they're all like, "No." No, I'm just kidding.
We've been spending some time here with John and Justin of the band Dirty Honey. Their first full-length record is out on April 23rd. The single California Dreamin' is out now. It's a great video. Definitely take the time to watch it. Just a killer band. If you just love, you know, pedal to the metal rock and roll, it doesn't get any better than what Dirty Honey's doing. So guys, best of luck. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And hopefully we'll catch up with you on the road and hit the East Coast down
behind you.
Yeah. Time out. What is that double neck creature in the background there?
That I actually build guitars, and that was one of the ones I did myself.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is that sitting in front of a crate?
No, they're PV
karate?
amps. Yeah.
Sorry, a little distracted. He thought it was the Michelangelo Badio guitar, but that's where there's one going.
Oh, that's right. They go both ways.
Yeah, no, that's a double. It's a 12 and a 6.
Nice.
Yeah, it has humbuckers, SGs that I pulled out of an old SG and put into that.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool.
it's a killer crunch to it. It's
Awesome.
a fun guitar to play.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank
Really
you guys for
appreciate
doing it. Again, hope we talk again soon sometime. We'll catch you when you're out here on the East Coast and get to say hello in person.
Stay safe.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.